The baggage carousel groaned beneath the fluorescent hum of lax. Bruce Lee stood motionless, arms crossed, watching suitcases circle like planets trapped in orbit. 11 at night in June, and the terminal still reeked of burnt coffee and recycled air. Raymond Chu's flight had landed 20 minutes ago. Bruce waited. Across the baggage claim, the crowd shifted. A wall of a man emerged from the customs corridor, broad shoulders in a tailored suit, head rising above the stream of tired passengers. Vincent Sterling, the heavyweight champion, moved with the easy confidence of someone who'd never lost a fight. His bronze skin caught the harsh terminal lights. A leather garment bag swung from one massive hand. Their eyes met. Sterling stopped mid-stride. His mouth curved into something between a smile and a challenge. Bruce didn't move, didn't blink. The air between them compressed, molecules rearranging themselves into something denser. A woman gasped, then another. Heads turned. Whispers spread like wildfire through the terminal. Someone raised a camera. The flash erupted, then another. The crowd began to tighten around them both, a slow tsunami of recognition pulling bodies closer. Sterling's smile widened, and Bruce Lee understood this night would not end quietly. Sterling moved first, his shoulders carved through the crowd like a ship's prow cutting water, passengers stumbling aside without protest. The champion's smile stretched wider with each step, feeding on the gathering audience. Bruce felt the space between them collapse 10 feet, then 5. The heat of bodies pressed closer. Cameras lifted. Bruce bowed, a slight dip of his head. "Champion, congratulations on your last fight." The words carried respect, but something else moved beneath them. Sterling's grin never wavered, yet his eyes measured Bruce with predatory focus. The kind of assessment a fighter makes before the bell rings. Bruce Lee. Sterling's voice boomed, pitched for the crowd. The little man with the big reputation. The circle tightened. Shoulders jostled shoulders. Someone's cologne mixed with the smell of stale coffee and jet fuel. Bruce remained still, feeling the trap form around him with each shuffling footstep, each whispered recognition. These weren't just witnesses anymore, they were becoming participants. Sterling extended his hand, and in that gesture, Bruce saw the architecture of what was coming. This handshake would not end things. Few could understand the weight of performing respect when instinct screamed to sidestep, to vanish into empty space. But the crowd had already decided something historic was unfolding. Sterling's voice boomed across the terminal, projecting past Bruce to the crowd pressing in behind him. "I hear you've been saying you could beat me." Camera flashes popped like firecrackers. The heat of packed bodies thickened the recycled airport air. Bruce's shoulders remained level, his hands loose at his sides. "I never said that." His voice carried no challenge, only correction. Different arts for different purposes. Sterling's grin widened. He pivoted slightly, playing the angle for the cameras now openly filming. "Let's test it right here then." He spread his arms wide. "Hit me." "I won't hit back." The crowd surged forward. Someone whistled. Bruce's jaw tightened, barely visible, but there. "One punch," Sterling continued, louder now. "Your best shot." Across the baggage carousel, 2 airport security officers in navy blue uniforms pushed through the gathering ring. Their radios crackled with static and urgent voices. Bruce noticed them. He always noticed exits, threats, trajectories, but Sterling blocked the path forward and the crowd sealed everything behind. The champion stood there, waiting. Hands open wide like a dare made flesh. What could Bruce do that wouldn't prove Sterling's point either way? "This isn't the place," Bruce said. Sterling's voice rose above the terminal noise. "One punch, right here." His arms spread wider, chest exposed beneath the fluorescent lights. "I'll stand still. You get your best shot, Bruce Lee." The crowd pressed closer. Body heat thickened the recycled airport air. A camera flash popped near Bruce's left shoulder, then another. The scent of sweat and stale coffee merged with adrenaline. A voice from the back shouted, "Do it." Another joined. "Do it." The chant built like a wave. "Do it, do it, do it." Sterling's grin never wavered. He pivoted slowly, playing to every angle, every lens. "Come on, legend." Show everyone what Kung Fu can do to a real fighter. The rhythm pounded through the terminal. Do it, do it, do it. Bruce's breathing remained steady, controlled, but the circle had tightened to 15 feet, faces everywhere, expectations carved into every expression. Walk away now and the story writes itself. Bruce lay, afraid the headlines would scream it by morning. Sterling dropped his arms to his sides, completely open, defenseless, still smiling. The trap had closed perfectly, and there was no exit Bruce could see that wouldn't destroy everything he'd built. Bruce stepped forward into Sterling's shadow. The champion's cologne mixed with arena sweat hung thick between them. Bruce leaned close enough to feel heat radiating from Sterling's chest. His voice dropped beneath the rhythmic chanting. You know I can't hit you, not here, not with cameras recording everything. Sterling's grin widened. He tilted his head back, projecting his answer across the entire terminal. Because you know you can't hurt me. The crowd erupted. Oh, the roar filled every corner of the baggage claim. Passengers pressed tighter, phones raised higher. Someone whistled sharp and long. Bruce pulled back. The fluorescent lights bleached Sterling's face white, that showman's smile carved into place. Try to humiliate me, Bruce said, barely audible now. Just being honest, my friend. Sterling spread his arms wide, playing conductor to his audience. One little punch. That's all I'm asking. The muscles along Bruce's jaw hardened to stone. His breathing slowed, deepened. The chanting faded into background static as something shifted behind his eyes. Cold, precise, calculated. He looked down at Sterling's extended hand, fingers spread in theatrical invitation, then back up at that confident face. His right hand lifted slowly toward Sterling's wrist, and what happened next would silence them all. Bruce's voice cut through the noise. Give me your hand. Sterling blinked. The crowd shifted, phones angling for better views. The champion extended his right hand slowly, palm up, fingers relaxed. A handshake, a concession. The grin widened. Bruce took the wrist with both hands. His fingers slid along Sterling's forearm, probing beneath muscle. The touch was clinical, methodical. Thumb and index finger positioned 3 inches below the wrist joint, pressing into the groove where tendon met bone. The crowd's roar dissolved into sudden, watchful silence. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead. Camera flashes stopped. Sterling's smile remained locked in place, confident, theatrical. He waited for the punchline. A joke. A symbolic gesture for the cameras. 1 second passed. 2, 3, nothing moved. Bruce's grip stayed firm, precise, unrelenting. Sterling's hand hung between them, still open, still relaxed. The champion's eyebrows twitched. Confusion flickered across his features, but the smile held. Then something shifted. Sterling's fingers trembled, not from effort, from absence. The smile faltered at its edges, his jaw tightening as the warmth drained from his palm. His thumb spasmed once, twice, then went slack. He tried to close his fist. His hand wouldn't obey. Bruce's fingers pressed deeper into the flesh between wrist and thumb. Sterling's hand bloomed open. His thick fingers splayed wide, tendons rigid against his will. He tried to curl them back. Nothing. The muscles refused every command his brain screamed at them. He yanked his arm backward, stumbling half a step. The crowd's murmur rose like static. Sterling shook his hand violently, once, twice, his brow furrowing as confusion replaced certainty. The numbness crawled up his forearm, cold and alien. What did you? His voice cracked. Bruce released his grip, stepping back with measured calm. His expression carried no triumph, no mockery, only quiet certainty. That's what I can do without striking. His words cut through the terminal noise, soft but surgical. Imagine what I can do with striking. Sterling flexed his fingers. Sensation trickled back in pins and needles, but the memory of helplessness remained. His jaw tightened. The champion who'd stood before crowds in Madison Square Garden now stared at his own hand like it belonged to someone else. Few could understand what he felt in that moment, the ground shifting beneath years of training, medals, victories. Then Sterling looked up at Bruce, and something dangerous flickered in his eyes. Sterling flexed his hand again, open, close. The fingers obeyed, but the memory of betrayal lingered in the nerves. He'd been touched by a dozen ring doctors, taped, examined, cleared. None of them had ever made his body refuse him. "You just showed me something." The words came out rough, stripped of the showman's polish. Bruce said nothing. He stood perfectly still, watching, not gloating, not posturing, just present. The crowd pressed closer, phones raised, hungry for more spectacle. But Sterling felt the performance drain from his bones. The mask he'd worn for a decade, champion, entertainer, invincible, cracked open in the fluorescent glare. Security officers pushed through the circle, radios crackling static against their belts. "Gentlemen, you need to move along." Sterling flexed his hand one more time. Sensation had returned fully now, warmth spreading back into the palm. He could fight again if he wanted, swing, dominate, reclaim the moment, but what would that prove? He stepped closer to Bruce, lowering his voice beneath the murmur of disappointed onlookers. The performance was over. What came next was real. "Come to my gym tomorrow." Bruce's expression didn't change. "I want to learn that." A single nod, no words, no conditions. Sterling turned away, his trainers already moving to flank him, their faces tight with questions they wouldn't ask until the cameras disappeared. Behind him, Bruce remained at the baggage carousel, waiting for his friend as if nothing extraordinary had happened. But Sterling's gym keys felt heavier in his pocket now, weighted with a question that wouldn't let him rest. What else could this man do inside a space where there were no crowds, no cameras, and no rules to stop him? The heavy bag shuddered under Sterling's jab. Day 1. Bruce circled him, hands tracing invisible lines across Sterling's extended arm. Here, between the radius and ulna, press upward and the grip fails. Sterling pulled back, flexing his fingers. The knowledge felt alien, a decade of orthodox training, and nobody had shown him this. Day 2, leather and sweat filled the gym air. Bruce tapped points along Sterling's neck, his ribs, the inside of his thigh. Nerve clusters mapped like constellations. Sterling's trainers leaned against the ropes, notebooks balanced on their knees, pens scratching furiously. Between rounds, Bruce spoke quietly. "Water adapts to the container. Stone breaks against resistance. Which are you?" Sterling wiped his face with a towel, breathing hard. "I've been stone my whole career." "Then you've been vulnerable your whole career." Day 3. Sterling moved differently now. His jabs angled toward the radial nerve. His crosses targeted the brachial plexus. Precision replaced power. Few could understand what he felt, the unraveling of everything he thought made him dangerous. Bruce stepped to the heavy bag, his fingers extended, barely touching the leather surface. "Watch closely." The bag exploded inward, not from a punch, but from something else entirely. The third day ended. Sterling stood beside the still swaying heavy bag, chalk dust suspended in the afternoon light streaming through the gym windows. He turned to his trainers, all 4 of them gathered near the ring with their notebooks closed. His voice carried no performance now, just the weight of reckoning. "Bruce knows things about the human body we never studied. He's a scientist, we're just fighters." The words settled into the space between the men like stones dropped into still water. One trainer nodded slowly, another exhaled through his teeth. Bruce waited near the door, gym bag over his shoulder. Sterling crossed to him. The champion extended his hand, the same hand that had gone numb 4 nights ago under surgical pressure. Their palms met, firm, equal. "Thank you," Sterling said. Bruce's grip tightened once, then released. "Keep adapting." Sterling watched him leave, the door swinging shut on its squeaking hinge. The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, his hand flexed. Remembering, years later Sterling would sit across from interviewers in tailored suits, championship belts gathering dust at home. He would lean forward, eyes distant with memory, and tell them about the night at Los Angeles International Airport when a small man made his hand disappear with 2 fingers. And he would smile.